What's up, everyone? Happy Philosophonics. I wore these glasses because tonight's episode 22, called Glitch in the Matrix. And I thought it would just be one episode, but looks like we're going to have to carry it into two. And so I just wanted to wear these glasses so I could get my Neo on and so I can be like Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson. All right, that's all. That's all I wanted them for. I was like, hey, do these look kind of like the Neo glasses? They look enough like it, right? Anyways, welcome to Philosophonics. We've had a couple weeks break, which has been very welcome. So thanks you guys for the patience and the time to kind of just do a little living on my side. It's been lots of stuff going on. So yeah, but I've taken a little left turn as usual, you guys. And I want to talk about tonight some glitches in the matrix, exactly as it's titled. So we're going to talk a little bit about things that are kind of weird phenomenons with reality, and especially in light of some suggestions of them actually happening this past week. I thought it would be a fun topic for us. So this will be structured just like most of the other philosophonics. I'm going to play some original music. Then we'll talk about the glitches in the matrix and some covers and then a meditation. So sending out love from my heart to yours. Hope you guys are having a great week. I know it's been crazy on a worldwide level. So I'm here for you guys, and I'm gonna play some. Hi, Julie. Welcome, welcome. Yes. I gotta put them on one more time just to feel cool. I don't remember any of the one lines from The Matrix, but I know that Keanu's got several of them. So maybe if I was playing the blues, I'd keep them on. But I just feel really cool and really like Neo. Like I took the right pill, you know. Okay. Yeah, so here's three originals for you guys. I'm gonna play Kafka and Ice Cream, Saints and Sinners, and Enough for You All. And then we'll get into the chat. So strap into your seats, folks, because it's gonna get weird tonight. That was my papers. Fine. It's okay. Relax now. Clear your mind of all those thoughts. Sail with me on a boat across the ocean, and we'll leave them all staring, fitting nicely in their boxes. Oh, the joys of using our brains, and oh, the joys of going insane, as we well should, when life is this good. If your dreams have to be dismissed for a time, just to survive, feel the spirit, even when you're not, even when you're not in the light. Saints are sinners who keep on going, and I'll break free, belong to no one. From the inside out, there's no more doubt. There's a fire in me, and it won't burn out, and it burns so bright with so much light. You'll be looking for some shade. It's all in the past, and nothing lasts but this moment. Too proud for tears. Can you see the light? Can you feel the heat from me standing there on my own 2 'Cause saints are sinners who keep on going, and I'll break free, belong to no one. From the inside out, there's no more doubt. There's a fire in me, and it won't burn out, and it burns so bright with so much light. You'll be looking for some shade. Boy, you know you had it made, but now you'll be looking for some shade. What happened to your face, love? The wrinkles used to be much softer than this. What happened to your heart, love? Your song used to be much louder than this. They're trying to take us down. No, they can't take it all, can't take it all, can't take it all, can't take it all from us. No, they can't take it all, can't take it all, can't take it all, can't take it all from us. No, they can't take it all, can't take it all, can't take it all, can't take it all from us. No, they can't take it all, can't take it all, can't take it all, can't take it all from us. All right, you guys, that was a couple originals for you off some various albums. And now is the time for the chatty chat chat. So, one of the reasons that I kind of came up with this topic this week is because I watch a little of the TikTok. I'm not saying that I watch a lot of the TikTok, but sometimes I watch some TikToks. And I think the algorithm has figured out that I'm a big fan of weird stuff in reality and all the other weird things that I think about. And so it is suggesting a lot of these kind of like spiritual, multidimensional things to me always in videos about it. And I came across one video and there is something called the Mandela Effect. So that is the first thing I'm going to talk about tonight. And I'll explain fully, we'll go into it fully, but what prompted it is that, as you know, last Saturday, of course, there's an assassination attempt, but also Richard Simmons died. And this person was on TikTok, and evidently there is a phenomenon going on right now that is part of what's called the Mandela Effect, and it's happening with Richard Simmons, one part of it is that some people are saying, oh, he never wore a headband, and other people remember him wearing a headband. Well, it turns out if you Google it, there's pictures of him wearing a headband. So that's not really of concern to me. But what is profound to me is that the other part of what's going on with Richard Simmons is that people already thought he died a while back. And I thought about it for a moment, and I was like, I really also remember that Richard Simmons had already died. Back at the beginning of the year or something, anyways, and so this is happening with a lot of people. They're like, Richard Simmons is alive again? I thought he was already dead. And so there's this like weird effect going on. And then if you go down the rabbit hole, there are people that are saying that we jumped timelines last Saturday, that the whole entire human race jumped to an alternate timeline, which it sounds kind of far out, but it's okay because we're going to get to the science of it. And anyhow, so I was seeing, and I see more and more every day of all these people that are like, I feel really weird. What's happening this week? Something feels off. The Richard Simmons thing, we jumped timelines. And so I was like, all right, we're going to do this episode about glitches in the Matrix, because there are a fair amount of actual things that I could consider glitches in the Matrix. So let me grab my notes real quick. And we're going to start with the Mandela Effect. So just a little bit about the history of it and the definition. So the definition, this comes from Britannica. It is a popularized phenomenon in which a group of people collectively misremember facts, events, or other details in a consistent manner, right? So it's a bunch of people, not just one, but they remember something else other than what exists, but they all remember it consistently. Um, so that's kind of the definition of it. And it comes from Fiona Broome, Broome. She is a paranormal researcher. And I'll just call her a scientist because I think she's legit like that. She's not one of those like frou-frou, she's more scientist. Anyways, she had a recollection of Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 80s. A lot of people thought that too. And so she started this web page for people to say if they also had this recollection that Nelson Mandela had already died in prison. Well, of course he didn't. He died very much later on and became like the president, I think, of South Africa. Don't quote me on that. I think that was his title. But anyways, he didn't die in prison in the 80s. But a lot of people like swear up and down that they can like even remember the speech from funerals of his death and like all of this happening. So Fiona, the scientist lady, she was like, this is crazy. I remember this. I'm starting this webpage. Turns out a bunch of other people also had that deep memory and fully believed it. And so thus the term became coined, the Mandela Effect. And it's not Mandela, it's Mandela, like Nelson Mandela. So let's see if any of these, thanks. I'm glad you like this topic, Julie. I think it's really fascinating. So, just kind of crazy things, right? So some examples, like I said, the latest one is Richard Simmons. People recall him, including myself, previously already dying. Of course, he died this past Saturday. So there's that. Here's some other examples. Okay, when Luke's about to kill Darth Vader in Star Wars, people recall him saying, "What? Luke, I am your father," right? And he does not say, "Luke, I am your father." He says, "No, I am your father." Okay, so that's another one. Here's one that I personally experienced myself as well. When I was little, the book, I'm just going to say it, the Bernstein Bears, right? I remember it being spelled Berstein. And my mom read me these books when I was a kid, like the Little Bears and teach about morality and all this. I swear it was the Bernstein Bears. It is not the Bernstein Bears. It is the Berenstain Bears. Stain. What? No, here, I'm just going to read y'all some examples and see if any of these apply to you, because these are all Mandela effects that people experience like on a worldwide level. The peanut butter Jif has never been called Jiffy. It's always just been Jif. Shazam, the movie with Sinbad as a genie, does not exist. Although I remember watching it as a kid. But what does exist is Kazam with Shaq. Shaquille O'Neal plays in that. So that's real. Here's another one is from Sleeping Beauty. When the evil queen looks in the mirror, what does she say? Right? Everybody thinks she says, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" She does not say that. She says, "Magic mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" So there's another one with the Monopoly guy wearing a monocle, wearing like a little eyepiece. He never wore that. But these are just some of the examples of this weird phenomenon, this glitch in the matrix called the Mandela Effect. And when I looked up possible, so of course I like to play both sides of the coin, right? So a logical side of the coin is that, like with the Monopoly guy, it makes sense. He's a wealthy guy. He might have that thing on. So people kind of like, when the detail makes sense with the story, they believe that memory. That's one side of what could be happening. Another is your mind filling in the gaps. So there might be like a gap in the memory and people just kind of fill it in with something that fits the bill, right? Seems appropriate. Broom herself, and this is kind of like where I like to play with it, um, she said, no, this is about parallel realities, that there are more than one reality. There are different timelines, right? And so what's happening is that we're jumping timelines. I guess all of us are in the boat jumping this timeline, which is crazy. I don't even know how logistically you would do that or why. But that's the explanation that Broom gave. And she kind of got dismissed, and people said that it really like set her work back because they were like, oh, she's crazy now. We're not listening to her, right? Kind of like the same, like the Rife guy, everybody else that we've talked about that kind of like was like, no, I'm a legit scientist and here's all my work. And then at a certain point, they're like alternate dimensions and healing with sound. They're like, oh no, they're crazy now, right? Interesting. So, a lot of people feel that last Saturday we jumped a timeline again, and that these Mandela effects, excuse me, are residues from jumping timelines. So that's one really weird thing. And that kind of brings us to the next thing that I'm going to talk about. Y'all. All right. Like I've said many times on this stream, I am not a scientist. I am a musician. And so I'm going to do my best to give a very, very dumbed down, brief overview of string theory. Okay. Because that is where we start seeing kind of like parallel dimensions. So this section, the next one I put string theory / the holographic universe, and I'll talk about both of those. So string theory is an attempt at a unified field theory, which all that means in less bougie terms is that since the beginning of science, they have been trying to have a theory that unifies the major forces in existence, which are gravity, electromagnetism, a strong force, which is what binds quarks together, which quarks are the smaller parts of like atoms. They're like smaller than protons and neutrons and stuff, subatomic particles. And a weak force, which I try to understand what that is, but all I could see or really understand on my side was that it's associated with radioactivity. And I put super complex. So weak force, I don't really understand. But anyways, scientists have been trying so hard with their big brains to come up with a unified field theory. And string theory attempts to reconcile all of that, to reconcile relativity with quantum physics and all of the different stuff, right? It tries to make one truth that explains them all. And there's like several different additions to the basic string theory. There's like M models and all this different variants on the string theory and super strings and all the string everywhere. So the theory of the string theory, in essence, and the easiest way that I could find to explain it on a very, like I said, basic level, is that the universe or universes is created from one-dimensional vibrating things called strings, like little vibrating, literally like strings, one-dimensional, instead of some atomic particles. That's all I'm going to get into on that, because y'all, if you really want to like understand string theory, it's like I could spend probably a year or more researching it, at least to be able to explain it, and then a year explaining it. It's like a big rabbit hole. So if you're interested in string theory, by all means, go learn more about it. But basically the difference is that instead of subatomic particles, it's using little vibrational things, right? Long story short, the effects of string theory, which it has proven to help us with a lot of stuff, the string theory, if it is true, then it results in there being way more than 3 dimensions. I'm not smart enough to be able to explain that why, but it basically does. And so you can look that up, like I said, if you would like to know why. I'm just telling you the end result is that it results in more than 3 dimensions, like a lot more, which kind of is brain breaking because we can kind of assume that the fourth is time, I believe, at this point. But past that, it starts to sort of break our brains as far as like, how do you process many, many more dimensions? It also results in infinite universes. Infinite, right? So not numbered, infinity universes, right? So now we're back to room with parallel universes. If you use the string theory, then she's not that crazy anymore. And things like wormholes, jumping from one point in one universe to another. It's very like Guardians of the Galaxy, like Marvel sounding. But oh yeah, that's one thing I was gonna say in my intro is that the Matrix and a lot of this stuff I have heard from multiple reliable sources in my life, directly tied to Hollywood and the movie industry and directly tied to the government side of things, that a lot of the movies that they release are preparing the general public for what is really the truth. So you think about aliens, you think about multiple dimensions and time travel. It's like there's a movie about it, right? So that was something I was going to say earlier on about these glitches in the Matrix. And the Matrix itself is that I have been told by some very reliable sources that those things are true and that Hollywood basically releases movies to allow us to like kind of emotionally prepare for those truths. Okay, so yeah, wormholes exist. The butterfly effect, which is kind of like quantum physics, where one thing interacts with another. So if this universe, something, they're basically connected, right? That's along more the quantum physics level. Okay, and so I wanted to show one image. I just got one picture for this part because I found this fascinating. So I was looking at string theory and pictures of the alternate dimensions. And this is like some kind of model of, I don't know, something with the dimensions. This is a musician talk. Musician trying to explain string theory. But does that look familiar to you guys? Does that look like something we've seen before? Yes, it freaking does. It looks like the octave and the triads and the intervals and the harmonic overtones and the harmonograph and all the things that we've seen with sound. And after all, strings are vibrating. So that is fascinating to me because I've seen a lot of those patterns with sound. And here they are, the science people, saying that these are the dimensions. Anyways, I'm not going to try and sound too smart about all this because I really don't know that much about it. I just know enough to kind of crack the ice. Anyways, that's fascinating to me that those look like some of those other patterns we've seen with sound. Boom. Those are called knots. And you can learn more about those as well. Okay, so to my knowledge, the holographic universe is encompassed under the string theory. I could be totally wrong, but that's at least what it looked like in my very minimal research. So first I want to talk about what is a hologram, because holograms are so beautiful and cool, right? And how do they work? Well, holograms are created using a laser to split up light beams and record the 3-dimensional structure. This is kind of like, whoa, let me start again. They're created using a laser that splits up light beams, records the 3-dimensional structure of the light wave dispersed by the object. When illuminated with a laser, the hologram can form an exact 3D clone of the object. So here is Dude, yes, Nate, I just read your comment. Those illustrations almost look like a conductor's motions. Yes, in another universe, for sure. Man, cause like we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Totally. I like that analogy, Nate. Good analogy, sir. All right. So here is the best image I could find, the one that made the most sense to me about how a hologram is created. So as you can see, you have your laser, right? And then there is the thing that splits the beams, right? Then the beam is being bounced all around, and you've got several mirrors involved. What results is a three-dimensional object which has what's called parallax. These are all fancy words for just something that we all already understand. Parallax is basically when you can move around an object and it changes, like it's truly 3D, right? Not just looking 3D when you're looking straight on it, but you can rotate around the room and it looks three-dimensional. So that is basically how you would go about creating a holographic effect. And as you can see, the object then projects and you get a true parallax hologram. Okay, remove image. Yes, Ashleigh. I love that I put that on my notes tonight, y'all. You know I have a problem with that. So there is another cool kind of holographic effect that I just want to talk about real quick because it's crazy. And this is not considered a true hologram because it does not have parallax, but you might recall this performance. I'm not sure what year this is from, but basically on the left we have Snoop Dogg, and on the right you have Tupac, which is deceased, but they were able to make a hologram of him performing with Snoop, which was super cool and a little bit eerie, but overall cool. And this has already been done with, I believe, Michael Jackson, and they did a hologram thing with Mariah Carey where she did like Christmas Around the World and they did holograms with her. But it looks pretty real. The problem is that it doesn't have, like I said, the parallax where if you were to rotate around it, it would not be truly three-dimensional. But this effect is named after scientist, Pepper is his last name. So this effect is called Pepper's Ghost. And if you go to like the Haunted Mansion and Disneyland, stuff like that, this is what they're using. And this is how this effect works. And I love that I found this infographic for us of the exact thing. So as you can see, there is a projector at the top being projected onto a reflective surface like a mirror or something. That is at a 45-degree angle that is then reflected up onto a transparent foil that you can't really see because they've got the stage dark. And so that is kind of like another, I don't know why I wanted to talk about that. I just think it's cool that they're doing that. And you should know how that works because we're talking about holograms. But that's not a hologram, but that's how they got Tupac. And Michael Jackson, all those people to be dancing on the stage and performing. That was like a little side tangent. Okay, so back to the holographic universe. Thank you, Tupac and Snoop, for being so cool. I put anyways. In 1997, Juan Maldacena proposed that everything happens in a space. Proposed that everything happens in space is explained in terms of information that is somehow stored on the surface of that space. And so basically what the holographic universe is that they're saying that the 2D image of something is then holographically projected, just like we saw kind of with the laser in the true hologram setup, and that we are seeing things in a hologram. So so yeah, that's what that means. But no, really, this is something that also results in the parallel universes, right? Because you have everything being reflected, and no matter what angle it's it's perceived in 3D, but it's not. Anyhow, yet another thing that if y'all want to learn more about it, there's actually a really good like British kids science show thing that I watched that talked about holograms and how it all works. So I'll try and put that in the rebroadcast. But one, I could be totally incorrect, but if I am not incorrect, I believe one quality of the hologram is that you could split it into infinite pieces and it would still contain the full image in each of those little pieces. Anyways, these are glitches in the matrix, and I think that, or I know that the holographic universe theory also supports that there are parallel universes and time jumping abilities like wormholes and that kind of thing. And I just want to throw out, since we talked about movies are explaining these things, Interstellar, if you've seen that movie, very, very well kind of touches on these parallel universes and multiple dimensions and the treatment of time and those things. So check out that movie if you haven't already seen it. Okay, moving on to the parts that are not so intense for me, because y'all, I really like, this is like very fancy stuff to me, and I have, not researched it for years. So anyway, another thing that is a glitch in the Zim Matrix is called deja vu. You may have had deja vu. I know I have had deja vu. I don't know who hasn't had deja vu. If you haven't, I'm sorry, because it's real cool feeling. But this is from Oxford. The definition of deja vu is a feeling of having already experienced the present situation, right? So you feel like, I've gone through this before, this exact thing. I know I have. And it actually translates directly from French as already seen. That's what it means. Deja vu means already seen. So, on the critical side of things, on the less cool, magical side of things, some explanations on the psychological and physical level of why deja vu exists is that it is a miscommunication in your temporal lobes. So, you have two temporal lobes, and some people suggest that when there is a problem in the communication of those two, that you experience like a memory, even though it's not a memory. So it's like your brain wiring going haywire. Here is something very, very interesting. The data shows that you're more likely to have deja vu from the ages of 15 through 25. And if you have a high level of education, if you travel a lot, if you remember your dreams, and if you hold liberal beliefs. These are actual statistics of more people have deja vu, which I put WTAF. That's crazy. But that's just a little side fact. So my thing is like, okay, if it's a misfiring of the temporal lobes, that's totally understandable. But why? Like, why does it result in that? And the times that I've had deja vu, I am like, it is like for real, for real. Like, I'm like, I have been here, I have done this, I have seen this. And so that is another kind of like glitch to me, where if time ultimately in the quantum level and the parallel universe and the holographic universe is not linear, then are we jumping like time back and forth accidentally? And that is that what's happening with deja vu? So far we really don't know. And so far a lot of these other things, like I meant to say on the Mandela effect, overall, there's really no scientific explanation for it. they can't explain it. Same thing with deja vu. There's no like solid evidence of why it happens. So I wanted to then talk about dreams, right? Because dreams are another thing that's like, what is happening? What is the purpose of them? Uh, are we going into another dimension? Is it just a brain dump? What's going on with dreams? And I started to get into it, and I was like, whoa, dreams is gonna be a whole own episode. Like, I'm gonna have to do a whole episode on dreams. So that's what the agenda is for next week on the chat. Is I'm gonna go deep into dreams and what is happening with those, and kind of like culturally what people think and symbolism in dreams. And we've kind of gone over the different stages of sleep, and the brain waves. So we'll look at that and like some different theories about what's happening. But I hope that was some kind of uh, food for thought tonight with those several, kind of weird things that are ultimately unexplainable, ultimately not able to be proved right or wrong or whatever. But my philosophical part of it is, I put the question, is any of this real? And who's to say yes or no? Did we really jump a timeline last week? I mean, I can't prove it either way. And so I would love for y'all to have your brains excited by that this week, and maybe just like ponder those things, because if it is real, the implications are pretty crazy. And especially if we can navigate them consciously or subconsciously, that's pretty crazy as well. If we did jump timelines, why? And did someone like do it to us, or was it just like a natural occurrence? And if we didn't jump timelines, why the Mandela Effect? Anyway, I thought these were all really fascinating, so I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about those, and I'll try and put several of those links in the rebroadcast. And of course, hit me up with any questions. I'll direct you to where I found some of these answers. So yeah, that concludes the chatty chat, the glitches in the matrix for tonight. And like I said, next week we'll go into dreams pretty heavily. I'll probably throw some stuff about time in there as well, because I think these topics are fun. And yeah, thank y'all for watching. Tonight's meditation is a simple one. Just like the song says, we're stardust. We're made from billion-year-old carbon. So as the world around us may be chaotic or confusing, take this moment and know you, my friends, share a heritage with the magnificent, beautiful universe. Which is something we can trust. I ask you this week, amidst everything, to remember this magic. May you feel love.